Hello, hello. Thank you so much for jumping on. I am Lisa, and I have been kind of jumping on and baking every Friday. So I was baking anyway. I figured why not share the love, right? So today I'm going to bake a chocolate buttermilk bundt cake. And it's pretty delicious. I've made this recipe before, but if you've been on one of my baking lives, you have probably heard me say that I always bake it the first time as the recipe is designed. So that's what I'm going to do today. I did post the recipe on my wall a few days ago. So if you are following along and you've got that already printed, that's fantastic. And I am glad that you are here. If you are watching the live, thank you for jumping on. I am listening to 80s music, which of course I don't own the rights to. So it's just going to be playing in the background. I also want to let you know that I am not at all a trained chef, baker, cook, anything. I just bake at home and it's just super fun. So make sure and say hi in the comments. Let me know you're here. If you're watching the replay, let me know you're here too. I have already got my ingredients ready. This cake is super easy. You just pretty much dump everything into a bowl. I do already have my oven preheating at 350. So if you haven't done that and you're baking along with me, you might want to go ahead and do that. I do have my ingredients lined up. You're going to need 3 cups of flour, 2 cups of sugar, 2/3 cup of cocoa powder, a cup of, it says boiling hot water, but I usually put it just in the microwave for about a minute and that's good. You're going to need some vanilla, some baking soda, a cup of vegetable oil. You could use butter if you prefer, but a cup of vegetable oil. And you're going to also use a 1.5 cups of buttermilk. 2 eggs. Right, I almost forgot that fantastic detail. And your bundt pan. If you don't have a bundt pan, you can totally bake this in something else. There's conversions and things. I don't know what they are. It'll depend on your pan that you're using as far as how long to bake the cakes. So it's going to vary. But I do recommend that you go ahead and butter your pan that you're going to use ahead of time while we're talking. I've also kind of decided that today is going to be Fireball Friday. So that means in just a second, my cabana boy will bring me a fireball. No, he'll just bring me the shot glass. I'm going to go ahead and grab the fireball while you guys are gathering your ingredients. Thank you, cabana boy. Perfect. So grab your ingredients, grease your pan, get your stuff in the oven. I'll be right back. Do you keep your fireball in the freezer? It's the best. It's super cold that way, super chilled. All right. Ooh, it's cold. I hope the weather's lovely wherever you are. It's good here. All right, so cheers to you, cabana boy. Cheers to you, bakers. Woo, Fireball Friday. It's on. Okay, hopefully now you've got all of your ingredients gathered together and organized. Let's get cooking. Like I said, this is just kind of a one bowl, easy peasy recipe. I will let you know that I'm going to put the cake together. Later on, I'm going to record how to make the glaze. You have to wait until the cake's cool before you put it on, so it doesn't make sense for me to demonstrate that now. All right, so I'm going to tip you a little bit. And like I said, I can't always see who is here, so if you want to say hi, that would be great. I've already got my 3 cups of flour. I'm going to also add my 2 cups of sugar. I'm going to add my 2/3 cup of cocoa powder. I like to use unsweetened. I like to get everybody out of there. Sometimes it kind of sticks in the bowl a little bit. Oh, you know what I forgot to grab? Salt. Hold on just a second. So I left this ingredient out, so if you need to go grab salt, go ahead and grab it. You're going to use, it calls for a 1/2 teaspoon, but I know if you've watched me before, I don't totally use as much salt as it says. So I'm just going to do some turns. We'll see how it goes. That looks like about a good amount. You just want to have enough in there so it kind of wakes up all the flavors, but it also has something to do with the way that the baking soda interacts with the cooking process. So I'm going to go ahead and grab my baking soda. I'm going to do 1 tablespoon. I did not pre-measure that. I love the baking soda boxes because you can just really kind of run the spoon across the top of it. It makes it nice and flat, nice measure there. Okay, so there's the baking soda. I'm gonna use the same amount, 1 tablespoon of vanilla. So this is such a nice cake. It's kind of vanilla-y, it's kind of chocolatey, it's kind of amazing. So there's that. You know, I'm gonna grab this little bowl real quick. Okay, I'm also going to dump in my 2 large eggs. And I went ahead and grabbed a little bowl because I think I told you on a previous live that I like to crack them into a bowl before I dump them into my cake. One time ages ago was baking and I didn't do that. And it was a rotten egg, and you guys, it was so gross. And when I say rotten, like a black and green and gnarly, and it smelled so bad. I had to throw the whole thing out. So I like to crack the eggs first to check them out and make sure that they're okay. All right, so 2 eggs. Okay, awesome sauce. 2nd egg in. All right, now I'm gonna grab my other kind of liquidy bits, right? So I've got the buttermilk, I've got the water, and I've got the oil, because I wanted to wait just a minute, because once I start dumping those in, it will sort of start, you'll see how it'll start to look a little bit different. I'm gonna do the water first. This is just the weirdest recipe to me, how everything, this is a cup of vegetable oil. You could use your favorite kind of oil. You could use butter. It will not alter the process at all, but it might, adjust the taste a little bit. So whatever works for you. I've got buttermilk. I'm going to go ahead and use 1.25 cups. I did not measure that out, so we'll measure together. This is the best measuring cup. I don't know if they still make this, but it's from Pampered Chef. You can do liquids on one side, solids on the other. It's amazing. So 1.25 cups then of buttermilk. Okay, let me just double check everything. I've grabbed everything that I need, and I'm just gonna mix it together. You could use a mixer. You could use, a stand mixer, I guess, if you have one. I don't have one. You could use a hand mixer. But I like to use just a spatula for this one because it does get very thick. And I just feel like it kind of gunks up the beaters. All right, so it looks a little bit weird right now. It's kind of a lot of liquid, but once you everything starts to get incorporated, and it'll get happy, and you'll see how it will kind of change a little bit. Continue to sort of scrape down the sides as you are mixing. Oh, smells so good. I wish that they would make smell-o-vision. Then you could smell it too. So what's everybody up to? It's Friday, which is always exciting, although every day seems like Friday kind of right now, doesn't it? Hopefully you'll be able to kind of get out a little bit and enjoy the weather. Hopefully it's going to be nice wherever you are. It's a beautiful sunny day here in Florida, at least in my part of the world in Florida. All right, so hopefully you can see now how it's starting to sort of begin to look a little bit like batter. As I dig down, I can still see that there's, some flour. So we don't want any bits of flour like that. We want it all to be incorporated really nicely. It's starting to get thicker now. I can feel it on my arm, but I'm still turning up. You can see little bits of flour are still turning up. So we want to mix until we don't have that happen. The batter does take on, it kind of looks, it's not going to be a smooth batter, I guess is what I'm trying to say. It will be thick, it will be a little bit bumpy, and it's totally okay. Heather, if you're watching, this is the cake that I made when you guys came to visit. Okay. All right, still just saw a little bit of flour flash through, so I'm going to keep mixing. All right, who's baking with me? Lori, I know last time when I baked the mini Bundts, you baked with me, so I don't know if you're watching today and if you're baking along with me, but hopefully so. Oh, guys, it's starting to really smell so good. Fantastic. You really get a nice arm workout, too. You can feel it like tricep workout or something, right? So I can skip my right arm on my workout today. Okay. So it is smoothing out just a little bit, and I can see no more flour turning up. It really smells good, guys. I'm just going to kind of go along the edges and scrape. Just to make sure. Yeah, I think that's good. I think that's good. So as a reminder, I've already got my Bundt pan buttered. So let me grab that. And I'm going to go ahead and pour the batter into the pan. Hopefully not fly it all over the place, right? Okay. When I butter the pan, I like to make sure that I go, you know, up the sides, but also don't forget that middle stick part if you're using a Bundt. And now here comes kind of bake-nastics. You have to kind of hold it while you scrape the rest into the pan. Oh man, this is gonna be good. Oh my gosh, almost there. Okay, it smells so good. Okay, so, sorry, it got a little bit bumpy. Okay, oh, Tina, I know, it's the craziest thing, right? That the flour shortage is going on. I don't get it. I've got one yeast packet that I'm kind of hoarding for something special, but hopefully that will all remedy real soon. A friend of mine, Linda, did mention that she's been ordering her flour right from King Arthur's Flour, so that might be the route that I go. I usually kind of stock up on baking stuff because I bake all the time. All right, so I've got everything, I've got the batter poured into the pan. I'm gonna bake it. It takes about an hour, but you'll wanna check it at about 50 minutes because that's when you're gonna start to smell it. And when you start to smell it, it's just about done. You can do the toothpick test, you know, where you pop the toothpick in, and if it comes out clean, good to go, you're done. Or you can kind of tap the top, and if it springs back, it's done. I usually use the scent trigger as my first indicator to know if it's finished. So again, 350 oven, about 50 minutes. Check it, might need a few minutes longer depending on your oven, and we'll go from there. As I mentioned earlier, I'm going to make the glaze separate. The way that it works, you have to have the cake completely cooled. So what I'm going to do after it comes out of the oven, I'm gonna let it cool a few minutes in the pan, then I'm gonna turn it out onto a rack, let it cool completely. while that's cooling, or as it gets close to kind of the end, when it's almost cool, I'm gonna make the glaze. You don't wanna make the glaze too early because it will have the possibility of separating and be kind of gross. You don't want to pour it onto the cake while it's still hot. It will soak in and it won't be a glaze at all. It's not a bad thing if it soaks in, but it won't be a glaze. It'll just be like extra chocolate in the cake or whatever. So that's kind of that. So I will post a video of glaze making and pouring later. So enjoy your fabulous Fireball Friday and have a great weekend. And we will see you guys next week. If you have a baking request, let me know. I'll see if I can pull it together. But as you guys know, there's shortages on all kinds of stuff, so it'll depend on what I can get. All right, thanks so much. We'll talk to you soon. Bye.